Oh, heard this jack. That's what came to mind soon as I heard the track. Ball spitting lyrical, condescending to murder rap. Heard they shot it to Nina. He deserved a Mac. About to turn the heat up. I got my hand on a thermostat. Ugly. G-Unit sneakers. Had the shirt to match cause after Get Rich or Die Trying, your every verse was whack. Mad cause Diddy hit your chick. You a jerk for that. Diddy clap them cheeks so loud the neighbors heard the slap. That's why you made that documentary. You was hurt from that. I heard she or 5 guys and they bring a burger back. Spoke to some conspiracy theorists. They said the earth is flat. They also said you work for Illuminati. Nervous rat. What would make this chump think that he could spit a verse with Pap? Somebody better pray for this nigga. Where the church is at? If it wasn't for him, you'll be looking for a purse to snatch. Bought your girl a wig, then you told her to return it back. 50, you a petty son of a... Bernie Mac killing this nigga softly, Lauryn Hill.
The tension in hip-hop was reaching a boiling point as news broke that Papoose had dissed 50 Cent on a freestyle over the iconic track Many Men. Fans immediately recognized the weight of the moment. Papoose, a seasoned lyricist, was directly challenging 50 Cent's legacy in one of his most celebrated bars. The freestyle had been recorded and leaked online, and within hours, the streets and social media were buzzing. Comments flooded in, debates erupted on YouTube, and the hip-hop community split into factions, analyzing every line and gesture. For 50 Cent, this was personal. He wasn't someone who let disses slide, especially not from another veteran in the game. The history between 50 Cent and Papoose had never been fully neutral. They had subtle past beefs, tensions over respect, and moments of indirect competition, but this freestyle forced everything into the spotlight. The freestyle itself was sharp. Papoose, known for his precise punchlines and encyclopedic knowledge of hip-hop culture, made several pointed references aimed directly at 50 Cent. He touched on 50's past controversies, subtle jabs at his business ventures, and lines that questioned 50's credibility in the modern rap scene. The way Papoose executed it, carefully enunciated words, cold delivery, and a tone that suggested both respect and challenge, made it clear that this wasn't a casual freestyle. This was calculated. Papoose knew exactly how to strike a nerve, and he did so with surgical precision. Hip-hop fans immediately dissected the lyrics, noting references to G-Unit, 50's past battles, and even lines about media moguls. Every word seemed designed to force 50 Cent to respond, and everyone knew he would. 50 Cent, never one to back down from a public challenge, quickly assessed the situation. While some rappers might have ignored it, 50 Cent understood that in this world, silence can be perceived as weakness. His reputation, built over decades of dominating rap battles, mogul-level moves, and street credibility, demanded a response. Within hours of the freestyle surfacing, 50 Cent was already crafting his counter. Sources close to 50 revealed that he wasn't just thinking about a casual Instagram post or tweet. This response had to be strategic, sharp, and overwhelming, something that reminded everyone why 50 Cent was not just a rapper, but a legend, a mogul, and a master of the art of response. As the freestyle circulated, fans noticed subtle cues on social media. 50 Cent began dropping hints, resharing old posts, and posting cryptic messages that suggested he had heard Papoose's freestyle and was preparing his reply. The anticipation reached a fever pitch. The streets, YouTube comment sections, and hip-hop forums were ablaze with speculation. Would 50 Cent respond with a diss track? Would he take a more personal approach, leveraging his media empire and social influence? Or would he allow his legacy to speak for itself and let Papoose's challenge fade into the noise? Those who knew 50 Cent understood that nothing about his response would be casual. He had built his career on precision timing, cultural awareness, and the ability to hit opponents where it hurt most. The dynamic between 50 Cent and Papoose was layered. Both were veterans, both commanded respect, but their styles couldn't be more different. Papoose, a lyricist with a strong underground and conscious rap foundation, relied on clever wordplay and historical references. 50 Cent, a mogul and street rapper, combined charisma, raw aggression, and media savvy. The clash wasn't just musical, it was generational, strategic, and personal. Fans watching knew that when 50 Cent responded, it wouldn't just be bars. It would be a statement. Every word would be dissected, every punchline analyzed, and every move documented across social media, radio, and hip-hop media platforms. 50 Cent's team went to work immediately. From his production crew to his social media strategists, everything was coordinated. 50 Cent planned not only the lyrical content, but also the visual and social elements of his response. He knew that Papoose had struck first, but 50's response needed to be definitive. There would be no ambiguity, no half measures. Every line would hit hard, every reference calculated to assert dominance, and every public move designed to reinforce his legacy. Meanwhile, Papoose monitored 50 Cent's social activity, knowing full well that any response could change the game entirely. The tension was palpable. Finally, after hours of strategic planning, 50 Cent made his move. He released a video and accompanying social media post directly addressing Papoose's freestyle. The content was unmistakable, starting with a hard-hitting visual, cinematic editing, and a message that immediately grabbed attention. NOU. The choice of words, tone, and delivery was classic 50 Cent, minimalist yet devastating, leaving interpretation open but implying complete domination in the face of challenge. Fans immediately noticed the significance of those words. It was not just a response, it was a declaration, a warning, and a statement of authority all in one. The streets reacted immediately. Clips of 50 Cent's post went viral. Fans dissected every pause, every emphasis, and every underlying message. Music bloggers, hip-hop media outlets, and commentators debated the meaning behind the three words, speculating on whether they were dismissive, threatening, or a setup for a future diss track. Meanwhile, Papoose watched carefully, understanding that 50 Cent had just set the terms of engagement and that any next move would require precision, courage, and strategy. What made this exchange so explosive was the history behind it. 50 Cent's career had been built on feuds, media dominance, and the ability to convert controversy into profit and cultural relevance. Papoose, while respected for his lyrical skill, was stepping into a world that 50 Cent had mastered over decades. The freestyle was a spark, but 50's response was a controlled explosion designed to remind everyone why he had remained relevant, feared, and respected across generations of hip-hop fans. Even before 50 Cent's response, insiders noted the strategic genius in how he approached the situation. Instead of rushing to release a long diss track or immediately firing shots in interviews, he controlled the narrative. He teased, hinted, and allowed anticipation to build. When he finally responded, the impact was multiplied because the audience was primed. Papoose had struck first, but 50 Cent had orchestrated the reaction with precision. Fans online immediately began debating the implications. Some argued that Papoose had underestimated 50 Cent's ability to respond without full-blown aggression. Others suggested that 50 Cent's approach signaled a deeper strategy, perhaps laying the groundwork for a full diss track, a media campaign, or even leveraging his connections in television and streaming platforms to extend the narrative beyond just music. Every post, every word, and every image was being dissected, and the tension between the two rappers reached unprecedented levels. The intensity of this exchange highlighted a truth about hip-hop culture. Legacy, respect, and reputation matter just as much as skill and lyrics. For Papoose, challenging 50 Cent was about asserting his presence and proving his lyrical credibility. For 50 Cent, responding was about protecting his legacy, asserting dominance, and sending a clear message that disrespect, even from a peer, would not go unanswered. This was a classic hip-hop confrontation, elevated by social media, cultural awareness, and decades of personal and professional history. The unfolding saga between 50 Cent and Papoose set the stage for the next phase. Fans anticipated the follow-up response, whether it would be a full-length track, a viral video, or a media statement. Everyone knew the stakes were high. 50 Cent's reputation as a master of timing and cultural strategy meant that Papoose's next move would have to be measured, clever, and impactful. The tension was not just musical, it was personal, cultural, and strategic, a clash of titans in the modern age of hip-hop. After 50 Cent's initial response, the intensity of the feud skyrocketed. The NOU post immediately dominated social media feeds, trending across platforms within hours. Fans analyzed every frame, dissected every pause, and speculated on the deeper meaning. Was it dismissive? Was it a threat? Or was it a setup for a larger lyrical attack? 50 Cent had mastered the art of leaving audiences on the edge of their seats, and this move was no exception. His presence was commanding even in the smallest 3 words, reinforcing why he remained one of the most influential figures in hip-hop culture. Papoose, aware that the world was watching, didn't respond hastily. Instead, he doubled down on his lyrical precision, dissecting the social media response with patience and care. Sources close to Papoose revealed that he was preparing a calculated rebuttal, one that would address 50 Cent's post without appearing reckless. Unlike younger rappers who might respond impulsively, Papoose's approach reflected decades of experience in battle rap and freestyle culture. He understood that each move in this feud had the potential to define public perception and could either elevate or damage his reputation permanently. Meanwhile, 50 Cent didn't just rely on social media to amplify his response. Behind the scenes, he coordinated with his production team to ensure that every element of his next move would have maximum impact. His approach was multi-layered: visual, lyrical, and psychological. The visuals accompanying his posts were carefully curated, reminiscent of his early days when music videos, album covers, and public appearances were all tools of dominance. 50 Cent knew that the freestyle by Papoose had been designed to provoke, but he also knew that the true power lay in controlling the narrative after the initial spark. The reaction from fans and media outlets was immediate and intense. Hip-hop blogs posted breakdowns of 50 Cent's social media tactics, analyzing the implications of the NOU message. Comment sections exploded with theories and debates. Some fans praised 50 Cent's restraint, noting that he didn't immediately launch into a diss track, but instead used minimalism to command attention. Others speculated that a full-scale response was imminent, expecting that 50 Cent would soon release a track that dismantled Papoose line by line, punchline by punchline. The anticipation only increased the stakes, making every next move critical. For Papoose, the pressure was significant. He had entered into a public battle with one of the most media-savvy and influential figures in rap history. Unlike traditional battle rap scenarios, this feud was being played out on multiple platforms: Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and hip-hop forums. Every fan, journalist, and celebrity commentator was watching, waiting for a slip-up. Papoose had to balance lyrical skill with strategic awareness. Any misstep could be amplified and used against him by 50 Cent, who had perfected the art of turning public scrutiny into leverage. As the feud progressed, 50 Cent began to incorporate subtle jabs into his posts, referencing Papoose's past work, collaborations, and even media appearances. These micro-disses, while not full-fledged tracks, served to remind audiences of his dominance and experience. 50 Cent's mastery of context and timing allowed him to shift the narrative without overt aggression. Each post was designed to provoke Papoose while simultaneously reinforcing 50's status as a cultural and lyrical authority. Papoose, in turn, prepared a series of strategic responses. Rather than reacting emotionally, he studied 50 Cent's career, analyzing the patterns of his previous feuds and public disputes. Papoose understood that engaging 50 Cent required more than raw talent. It required understanding his opponent's timing, his approach to media, and the psychological tactics he employed. The freestyle had initiated the clash, but the real battle was unfolding in a complex interplay of public perception, lyrical mastery, and strategic positioning. The feud quickly became a cultural event. Influencers, celebrities, and music executives began weighing in, each amplifying the visibility of the clash. Some commentators drew comparisons to historic rap battles, noting that this exchange had elements of classic feuds, but was uniquely intensified by social media. Every post, every story, every public reaction was part of a layered narrative that neither 50 Cent nor Papoose could fully control, but both were leveraging expertly. At the same time, fans dissected each lyric, referencing bar-for-bar breakdowns of Many Men and comparing them to 50 Cent's past tracks. Forums and comment sections exploded with speculation, theories, and debates. Hip-hop journalists created timelines of the feud, connecting dots between Papoose's freestyle, 50 Cent's social media posts, and previous incidents in both rappers' careers. It was clear that this clash was not only about respect and legacy, but also about strategy, media manipulation, and cultural dominance. 50 Cent's ability to respond without overextending himself demonstrated his mastery of modern conflict in the music industry. By crafting responses that were measured but pointed, he maintained control while forcing Papoose into a defensive position. The tension between direct lyrical confrontation and strategic restraint created a narrative that fans could follow with obsessive attention. Papoose was in a position where he needed to respond thoughtfully, yet the pressure to act was immense. As the feud intensified, speculation about a possible diss track from 50 Cent began circulating. Industry insiders suggested that 50 Cent might release a record that not only responded to Papoose, but also served as a broader statement about his legacy and dominance in the rap industry. This possibility elevated the stakes further. Papoose's every decision would be scrutinized, and any misstep could shift public perception decisively. The game had moved beyond freestyle bars. It was now a multi-platform chess match, with influence, strategy, and legacy all on the line. Even in this high-pressure scenario, 50 Cent demonstrated his understanding of timing. Instead of rushing a full-length response, he continued to drip hints and cryptic posts, keeping the audience engaged while Papoose considered his options. This tactic increased anticipation and tension, ensuring that when a full response arrived, it would have maximum impact. Hip-hop fans understood that 50 Cent's restraint was as powerful as any punchline he could deliver in a track. The cultural impact of this feud was undeniable. It illustrated how modern rap battles extended beyond the music itself into social media, fan engagement, and public perception. Every move was amplified, every response dissected, and every reaction became part of the ongoing narrative. The feud between 50 Cent and Papoose was no longer just a battle of lyrics. It was a masterclass in strategic communication, timing, and control within hip-hop culture. After the initial social media exchange, the feud escalated into a full-blown lyrical war. 50 Cent wasted no time taking the next step. He went into the studio with his production team and crafted a precise response aimed directly at Papoose. The track was strategic from the first bar, blending aggression, clever wordplay, and undeniable swagger. Every line was carefully calculated to address Papoose's freestyle while reinforcing 50 Cent's dominance in the hip-hop world. Fans immediately noticed the difference between Papoose's approach and 50 Cent's. Papoose relied on technical skill and historical references, while 50 Cent leveraged charisma, timing, and psychological pressure. The release of 50 Cent's diss track sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. Social media exploded as snippets were shared and reactions poured in from fans, influencers, and fellow artists. Each line, each punchline, and every subtle jab was dissected, creating trending topics, memes, and heated debates. 50 Cent didn't just respond, he dominated the narrative. His name flooded comment sections alongside Papoose, with audiences comparing bars, delivery, and impact. This wasn't just a feud, it was a cultural event that extended far beyond music. Papoose, recognizing the intensity of 50 Cent's response, felt the pressure to reply strategically. He knew he could not simply react emotionally. Every move had to be precise, calculated, and designed to reclaim ground without making a misstep. Sources close to Papoose revealed that he spent hours studying 50 Cent's lyrics, analyzing the cadence, references, and even the choice of beats. He understood that the next move could define the rest of the feud and potentially affect his reputation for years to come. Meanwhile, 50 Cent capitalized on the attention. Interviews, podcasts, and social media posts allowed him to control the narrative even further. He dropped subtle hints about Papoose's career choices, collaborations, and past controversies, framing his response in a way that was both personal and strategic. This was classic 50 Cent, turning conflict into a platform, amplifying his influence, and cementing his legacy. Every post, every story, and every line of the diss track was a reminder that 50 Cent was not just responding to a freestyle, he was asserting dominance across multiple fronts. Fans and media outlets quickly picked apart the feud. Hip-hop blogs posted detailed breakdowns of each line from 50 Cent's diss track, analyzing references to G-Unit, past feuds, and industry power moves. Social media analysts debated whether Papoose could respond effectively without giving 50 Cent an advantage. The intensity of the discussion elevated the feud beyond personal conflict into a masterclass in strategy, cultural influence, and public perception. The interplay between 50 Cent and Papoose highlighted the evolution of hip-hop battles. Unlike traditional battles confined to clubs or ciphers, this feud played out across social media, streaming platforms, and media outlets. Fans, critics, and celebrities could weigh in instantly, amplifying every move and every word. 50 Cent understood this dynamic fully and used it to his advantage, turning the feud into a spectacle that kept the audience engaged and invested. Papoose released his rebuttal, a track that combined lyrical skill with a precise, pointed response to 50 Cent's diss. While it showcased Papoose's technical ability, it also revealed the pressure of engaging with a cultural powerhouse like 50 Cent. The track was dissected line by line, with fans debating whether it matched the intensity, strategy, and impact of 50 Cent's original response. This cycle of diss and counter-diss created a continuous loop of engagement, keeping both artists at the forefront of hip-hop conversation. Industry figures began weighing in, further amplifying the feud. Collaborators, producers, and artists close to both camps shared opinions, adding layers of interpretation and speculation. Rick Ross, Fat Joe, and others commented on social media, expressing support, criticism, or strategic observations. Each external voice added complexity to the narrative, ensuring that every move by 50 Cent or Papoose would be scrutinized in the broader cultural context. 50 Cent's ability to leverage both media and music set a precedent in this feud. While Papoose excelled at lyrical precision, 50 Cent's mastery of timing, psychological pressure, and public influence gave him a distinct advantage. Every tweet, post, or story became part of a calculated campaign designed to dominate attention and control the narrative. This was not just a feud, it was a demonstration of how modern hip-hop battles extend far beyond the studio into strategy, media, and public perception. As the feud reached its peak, the stakes became clear. This was no longer just about pride or lyrics. It was about legacy, cultural relevance, and influence. 50 Cent had established a pattern. Every response, every strategic move, and every public statement reinforced his position as a dominant figure in hip-hop. Papoose, respected for his lyricism, faced the challenge of responding without losing credibility or giving 50 Cent additional leverage. Fans eagerly awaited the next chapter, knowing that every new track, post, or media comment could shift the balance. The feud had become a cultural phenomenon, with the music, social media, and public reactions intertwining to create a narrative larger than either artist alone. 50 Cent's responses had set the tone, demonstrating control, timing, and strategic brilliance, while Papoose's counters showcased skill, precision, and resilience. By the end of this phase, it was evident that the 50 Cent versus Papoose feud was more than a simple lyrical exchange. It was a complex interplay of music, media, strategy, and public perception. Both artists had leveraged their strengths, 50 Cent with influence and timing, Papoose with technical skill and lyrical intelligence, to create a feud that was memorable, high-stakes, and culturally significant. Fans and critics alike were left anticipating the next move, knowing that the conclusion could redefine their legacies. As the feud between 50 Cent and Papoose continued to dominate headlines, the aftermath of their exchanges became a defining moment in modern hip-hop. The diss tracks, freestyles, and social media posts had created an unprecedented wave of attention, but beyond the noise, both artists were navigating the long-term implications of the battle. 50 Cent's calculated approach, blending lyrical aggression with media manipulation, had solidified his dominance, while Papoose's resilience and technical skill earned respect from fans who valued lyrical integrity. This wasn't just about who landed the hardest punch. It was about strategy, legacy, and influence. The cultural conversation around the feud expanded beyond music. Fans debated not only the lyrical content, but also the media strategies employed by both artists. 50 Cent's NOU post, his diss track, and his social media presence had demonstrated how a modern feud could extend into multiple platforms, creating a multi-layered narrative. Papoose, responding with precision and intelligence, showcased that lyrical skill could still matter in an era dominated by social media spectacle. Together, their feud became a case study in balancing artistry with strategy in the 21st century music industry. Industry insiders noted the psychological dimensions of the conflict. 50 Cent had long been known for his ability to pressure opponents, not only through lyrics, but through calculated public statements and timing. Papoose's decision to respond carefully highlighted the stakes. Every misstep could be amplified, and every public reaction became part of the story. The feud illustrated that in modern hip-hop, battles were as much about perception and timing as they were about lyrical skill. 50 Cent had demonstrated mastery in all these areas, while Papoose had leveraged skill and patience to maintain his credibility. Fans continued to dissect every line from the diss tracks and freestyles, noting references to past feuds, collaborations, and industry events. The historical context between 50 Cent and Papoose added layers of meaning to every lyric. References to G-Unit, past interviews, and previous industry controversies were not random. They were calculated jabs, intended to resonate with fans who had followed both artists for years. In this way, the feud operated on multiple levels. Casual listeners could enjoy the drama, while die-hard fans appreciated the nuance, strategy, and history embedded in each line. The social media ecosystem amplified the feud in ways that previous generations of hip-hop couldn't have imagined. Memes, reactions, and commentary from celebrities created a constantly shifting narrative. Every post from 50 Cent or Papoose was shared, scrutinized, and remixed. The immediacy of digital platforms meant that nothing went unnoticed. 50 Cent's mastery of this ecosystem gave him a distinct advantage. He understood how to maximize engagement, generate speculation, and control the narrative in real time. Papoose, aware of these dynamics, had to navigate his responses carefully, balancing artistry with strategic thinking. As the weeks progressed, analysts pointed out that the feud had tangible effects on both artists' visibility. Streams for 50 Cent and Papoose surged, and discussions on radio shows, podcasts, and YouTube channels kept the narrative alive. The clash had become more than a personal dispute. It was now a cultural event with financial, social, and professional implications. For 50 Cent, every move reinforced his position as a dominant figure in hip-hop. For Papoose, every response reinforced his reputation as a formidable lyricist unafraid to stand his ground. The feud also highlighted generational differences in hip-hop. 50 Cent represented a model of dominance that combined lyrical skill, street credibility, and media savvy, while Papoose represented technical skill, precision, and strategic patience. Their interactions showcased how different approaches could intersect in modern rap battles. While 50 Cent used the media as a weapon, Papoose relied on lyrical depth and timing. Fans recognized that this clash was about more than individual bars. It was a demonstration of how hip-hop culture had evolved, blending traditional skill with modern influence and strategy. By the end of the feud, both 50 Cent and Papoose had demonstrated strengths that would resonate in hip-hop history. 50 Cent had shown that dominance in modern rap requires more than just talent. It requires control of narrative, strategic timing, and an understanding of cultural influence. Papoose had shown that lyrical skill, intelligence, and resilience remained critical, even against an opponent who dominated social media and mainstream attention. The exchange elevated both artists, proving that high-level feuds could create cultural moments while showcasing artistry and strategy. In the broader context, The feud between 50 Cent and Papoose served as a lesson in conflict management, strategy, and legacy within hip-hop. Fans, commentators, and aspiring artists studied every move, every post, and every track. The battle demonstrated that modern feuds were not just about ego, they were about timing, strategy, public perception, and the long-term impact on reputation. 50 Cent had mastered this form of conflict, and Papoose had risen to meet him, creating a narrative that would be analyzed for years to come. Ultimately, the 50 Cent versus Papoose saga ended with respect for both parties, even amid tension. The feud left an indelible mark on hip-hop culture, highlighting the importance of strategic thinking, artistry, and control of public perception. 50 Cent reinforced his legacy as a master tactician and cultural powerhouse, while Papoose demonstrated that lyrical integrity and calculated responses could hold their own against even the most media-savvy opponents. Together, they created a moment that would be remembered as one of the most significant clashes in modern rap history. As the dust settled, fans reflected on the impact. Every tweet, track, and freestyle had been part of a larger narrative about influence, skill, and the power of reputation. 50 Cent and Papoose had engaged in a battle that transcended music, becoming a study in culture, strategy, and legacy. The feud had proved that in hip-hop, mastery isn't only about bars, it's about understanding the game, timing, and the audience. And in this battle, both 50 Cent and Papoose had shown mastery in their own way. In the end, the story was not simply about who won or lost. It was about the evolution of hip-hop, the intersection of media and music, and the ability of artists to create moments that resonate far beyond the studio. 50 Cent had proven that he was still a force to be reckoned with, capable of controlling narrative and shaping cultural discourse. Papoose had proven that skill, patience, and calculated strategy could stand toe-to-toe with even the most dominant figures in the industry. Together, their feud became a cultural milestone, studied, dissected, and remembered as a defining moment in the modern era of hip-hop. If you're following every move in this epic battle, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of the 50 Cent versus Papoose saga. Comment below who you think won this round, and share your favorite bars from the feud. Stay tuned, because in hip-hop, the story is far from over, and we'll be breaking down every diss, freestyle, and reaction as it happens.